Today in Draw My Life, the apocalypse. Blessed is the one who reads aloud the words of this prophecy, and blessed are those who hear it and take to heart what is written in it, because the time is near. The sky will darken, and many will regret their bad behavior, as the book of Revelations, written by St. John, says. He was in heaven before the throne of Jesus, who wore a robe with a golden band on his chest. His hair was white. In his eyes he had flames of fire. From his mouth came out a sword, and his face was very luminous. He urged John to write down everything he saw. Jesus carried 7 stars in his hand, which were the 7 angels. Each had a mission in different places on earth. They were to congratulate good people and give a warning to the evil ones. If they didn't repent, they would suffer many misfortunes that we're going to tell you now. John stayed a while to observe the kingdom of heaven before the battle began. The main throne was surrounded by a rainbow. Around it were 24 other thrones, with 24 elders sitting. In front of the great throne were 7 burning fire lamps. These were the 7 spirits of God. What surprised John the most were 4 strange beings. They were full of eyes in the front and in the back. The first was like a lion, the second like a calf, the third with the face of a man, and the fourth like an eagle, and each had 6 wings. John fixed his eyes on a book that had 7 seals. No one could open it nor look inside. Suddenly, a lamb with 7 horns and 7 eyes appeared. It took the book with its right hand, and the living creatures and the elders bowed down before him, praising him with chants. The lamb opened one of the 7 seals in the book, and then a white horse appeared with a horseman who went out to conquer. He then opened the 2nd seal, and another red horse came out which was ordered to take peace from earth so that men would kill themselves. Upon opening the 3rd seal, a black horse arrived with a horseman with a balance in his hand. With the 4th seal, a yellowish horse appeared. Death was on it, with Hades following it. They had authority to kill with the sword, hunger, pestilence, and beasts. The 5th seal uncovered those murdered for God's sake, who were asking for revenge. The 6th seal caused a great earthquake. The sun turned black, and the moon became bloody. The stars fell down to earth. The sky disappeared, and the mountains and the islands vanished from their place. People hid in caves. They were asking for the mountains to fall over them so they could hide from the Lamb's wrath. Then there were 4 angels who prevented the wind from blowing. Another angel came out from the sun and stopped these 4 angels. He told them not to act until they put a stamp on the foreheads of good people. They were counted in thousands and thousands. They were dressed in white robes, and palms were placed on their hands. When the Lamb opened the 7th seal, there was a silence in heaven for half an hour. The 7 angels had 7 trumpets. Each time one of them played the trumpet, chaos was brought to earth. Hail and fire, mixed with blood, began to fall. Then a great burning mountain was thrown into the sea, and a third of it became blood, killing fish and destroying countless boats. A great star fell from heaven over the springs. Many men died upon drinking these waters. Part of the sun and part of the moon were also harmed. Thus, neither the day nor the night shone. An eagle flew across the sky, wailing for what was to come. Then a star fell to earth, opening a huge abyss. A lot of smoke came out of it, and then locusts emerged to torment the evil humans for 5 months. They had long hair and lion's teeth, iron shells, and a scorpion's tail with strong poison. Their victims will wish for death, but she will flee from them. Their king was the angel of the abyss, called Abaddon. Then the 4 angels were freed and given the order to kill a third of humanity. Thus, 200 million horsemen prepared to attack. The horses' heads were like those of lions, and from their mouths, fire, smoke, and brimstone came out. Their tails were made up of snakes. Before the 7th angel played the trumpet, John was ordered to devour the book one of the angels had. In doing so, his insides became bitter, but his mouth tasted sweet as honey. Then John found 2 olive trees and 2 candlesticks. They had the power to close the sky so it wouldn't rain for days, that of turning waters into blood, and to smite the earth with pests. Finally, the 7th angel played the trumpet, and the temple of God in heaven opened. There was thunder and lightning, an earthquake, and a strong hailstorm. Then a woman appeared dressed like the sun with the moon under her feet and a crown of 13 stars. She was pregnant and screaming in labor pains. At the same time, a great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns emerged from the abyss, ready to devour the child at birth. But the baby was brought to God. The woman fled to the desert, where she had a place prepared to be sustained for 270 days. A war began in heaven between Michael and his angels against the dragon, who was the devil. Since he wasn't able to finish with the woman, he left to make war on his offspring. Suddenly, a new beast emerged from the sea, with also 7 heads. Its appearance was that of a leopard, with bare feet and the snout of a lion. One of its heads was very wounded, but was suddenly healed. Men and women were amazed and began to worship him. He spoke with arrogance and his words were full of evil. Then another beast appeared, shaped like a goat, that made fire come down to earth. It would mark its followers with its number, 666. The Lamb was on Mount Zion, along with the people who had been saved. A cloud appeared in the sky, and Jesus sat on it with a scepter in his hand. The time had come to mow the land, meaning separating the good from the evil. When it seemed like everything was going to end, 7 angels appeared again. One of the 4 living beings gave the 7 angels 7 golden cups filled with God's wrath. These are known as the 7 plagues. The temple filled with smoke, and no one could enter until the 7 plagues were over. The angels had to pour the cups over the earth. The first one caused loathsome sores on men and women. The second and third turned the waters of the seas and rivers back into blood, killing every living thing, so they would drink the blood of their victims. The fourth cup was poured over the sun, and it burned men with fire. The fifth one fell on the throne of the beast, covering his kingdom with darkness. The sixth cup dried up the rivers of blood. The last cup was thrown in the air, producing terrible lightnings, thunders, and a huge earthquake. Later, the judgment came to a great city that caused all of the evils of human beings of the time. The city was represented with the form of a woman. She was sitting on a scarlet beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. It's believed that this city was Rome. When the city collapsed, another angel came down from heaven and lit up the earth. While John talked to an angel, the sky opened up and a white horse came down from it. Its horseman had fire flames in his eyes, a sword in his mouth, and his robe was soaked in blood. A great army followed him. All of the world's birds began to fly around it. The beast of the earth and the evil kings wanted to make war against the horsemen. But finally, the beast was defeated and thrown into the lake of fire. The kings were murdered with the sword that came out of the horseman's mouth. The birds were satiated with their meat. An angel came down from heaven with the key to the abyss and a chain in his hand. He caught the dragon and sealed it so that it would not do evil for 1,000 years. Then the book of life was opened, where the good people were written down. The dead who had been good came back to life, and the bad were thrown into the lake of fire. It was then that Jerusalem began to descend from heaven to earth, and the city would be populated by good people. John went to see it from the top of a mountain. It was surrounded by a high wall with 12 doors, each with 12 pearls, and on them were written the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. John saw a river with the water of life passing through the middle of the city street. On each side of the river was a tree of life. It had 12 kinds of healing fruit and leaves, intended to protect all good people. And so the book of Revelations ends. Who wants to see movies about the end of the world when you have this story that's way less graphic? Did you know it? Tell us in the comments which other stories you would like us to tell you. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Until the next video.